It's just a public service announcement, sponsored by Just Blaze and the good folks at Rockefeller Records.
Fellow Americans, it is with the utmost pride and sincerity that I present this recording as a living testament and recollection of history in the making during our generation.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Ho, H to the O-V. I used to move snowflakes.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Beyond the Box Score. I am your host, Cameron Sadeghi, and like always, we discuss issues that aren't seen on the box score, issues that we don't typically see on a normal, regular sports show or an average sports report. We're going to talk about things that really happen outside the lines, and I know some of you are saying, well, are you guys like outside the lines on ESPN? Yes, Beyond the Box Score is a very similar show to Outside the Lines, but in a radio version, similar to Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel, where we really examine the issues that are hurting sports and issues that need to be fixed in order for sports to run smoothly. And two issues that have been all over the place, especially on Outside the Lines on ESPN. It's the first one I'm going to start out with because it's completely, utterly ridiculous. And when I say that, I mean, I can't even find a word to describe the situation. Okay. In California, there is a Pop Warner football coach who got suspended over a bounty program with a junior pee-wee football team, the Tustin Red Cobras in California. So, you're thinking, are you kidding me, Cameron? I mean, the New Orleans Saints, and those are professionals, they had a bounty program. And yes, it even happens at the lower levels of football. And you would think, really? Pee-wee football, Pop Warner? Pop Warner is glorified to be one of the most reputable, credible football organizations in the world. And especially in America. And now it is starting to become a living joke. And this event is going to put a really negative place a negative image on Pop Warner football, because this coach, the former Red Cobra coach, Darren Crawford, his son was also on the team as well. And Outside the Lines, I guess, did this report a few weeks ago. And so he's been suspended. He wants reasoning, but people are turning against him. And there have been some... Okay, well, this is... Here, let me just go ahead and read this. Okay, my mind's running at a million miles an hour. Because, first of all, a bounty program at any level is ridiculous, but especially at the junior pee-wee football level. These are kids. These are not... they're not even amateurs yet. Okay? If they were amateurs, okay. Pros, okay. But kids really... I mean, football in America has become a little too competitive in my mind. And no wonder why kids don't really want to... Maybe there are kids that are turned off by football now because of things like this. But let me go ahead and read from the OC Register, Keith Sharon, what Keith had to say. So basically, John Butler, the executive director of Pop Warner Little Scholars, said this. Quote, the investigation concluded that there was no pay-for-hits program or premeditated bounty system. The investigation did conclude, however, that one player may have been rewarded for his performance in one game. Okay. So, this is what Keith had to say. Butler's statement explained that since rewarding players for performances against Pop Warner rules, all the coaches bear responsibility for the violation. Okay. here's the problem I see with this investigation, because I saw the Outside the Lines report, okay? And what I saw was the parents and the people around the games, around the teams, said that this was a bounty program. They said a kid reportedly got $20 after the game. He hit a kid really hard, and I guess the kid had a major neck injury, which would, I believe, end his football career. So, I mean, okay, the investigation, the parents, the people around the program, I can't really tell who's right. But for a coach to be even accused for a bounty program speaks to the larger issue. And that is, football has become way too competitive, period. I don't care if you say, well, these kids have to have heart. You need to teach them competitive spirit. Well, let me tell you this. If you're cheating outside the rules and going beyond the rules, you don't deserve to play this game, and you'll never go far in this game. With the competitiveness and recruiting, with the competitiveness and the social media age that we live in, that everybody has to get noticed for everything. Everybody has to be the star. Well, why? Why? Why does a coach in Tustin, California, by the way, I'm not far from Tustin, why does a coach in Tustin, California need to be the star of this? Shouldn't it all be about the kids? Why are the parents standing in the way? I thought the parents were supposed to be supportive. I thought the parents were supposed to be the reason for the kids to have fun. But in reality, it isn't. And I did some research today. The Positive Coaching Alliance, it's a group where they have certification programs. They have coaches like Phil Jackson, Herm Edwards, the Cincinnati Reds manager Dusty Baker. I mean, guys like that are, really are a part of this coaching alliance called the Positive Coaching Alliance, called positivecoaching.org. And basically it's about the kids. They're trying to fix an issue where 70%, I'm going to drop this fact, it's going to blow your mind. 70% of kids who enter sports leave by the age of 12. And I don't blame the kids. Look at, honestly, the pressure from, let's really break down the pressures all the way through. You got family pressure, correct? You have, you have family pressure, okay? Second, you have recruiting pressure. Third, you have pressure from the coaches. Fourth, pressure from friends. And I think fifth and finally, just exposure. I mean, everybody wants to be noticed. Everybody wants to be on YouTube. Everyone wants to be exposed. But what I love, okay, the social media era that we live in, the social media revolution that we live in, okay, we're going through a revolution right now. The social media revolution. The positives, it's a blessing and a curse. The blessing is we find problems. The curse is we find problems. I know, you're saying, what? Yes, I did say that, because Pop Warner, again, has been glorified to be as one of the best football programs in the world. And now, coaches are getting greedy, coaches feel like they have the power, and look, I don't want to jump to conclusions, because I've always believed in, the saying that always report what you know, never report what you don't know. And while the coach has been accused for this, we don't know conclusively that he did perform a bounty program and paying kids to injure players. But we do know that that a kid has been paid based on performance. So, the question is, we always talk about should college players get paid? Okay, maybe that's a somewhat reasonable question, considering they're amateur athletes. They put in very tough hours, very hard work. It's not easy being a college athlete. But there is absolutely no justification whatsoever for a kid to get paid at this age. Regardless if it's performance, regardless if it's a bounty hit. No kid at the pee-wee level, let me repeat that, at the pee-wee level should be paid for performance. Period. End of story. That's just my take to open up the show on Beyond the Box Score with Cameron Sadeghi here. We just got a comment from Jesus Jacques McTravis. I think I know who this is. It's probably one of the kids at the LA camp. But I have to read this comment. Chicken and peas. Wait, let me read this comment before it gets on air. I don't want it to be inappropriate. Okay, chicken. Okay. What? Okay, I'm not reading that comment. But if you do have a comment, please comment on the green bubble. It's on the right corner of your screen. And then go ahead, type away, and give some comments. If you have any stories about kids or sports issues that are really hurting, sports in general, please go ahead and comment there, or you can tweet me at SM_Cameron. Alright, we are done with that. Now, another outside the line story that has really shocked, I think, it hasn't shocked the sports world like the issue that I brought up, but it has raised concern, and it has, been really good to expose this brand. And that brand is CrossFit. CrossFit is a program, a fitness program, where you do a lot of strength training, a lot of cardio training, all mixed into one, basically. Kids are doing it, adults are doing it, but the workout regimens are so extreme that parents are concerned, athletes are concerned, and just, professional strength coaches are concerned, and just a lot of people in the field are concerned. And I don't blame anyone, because if you look at CrossFit, and by the way, ESPN Outside the Lines, they did an incredible job with their piece on CrossFit. But if you look at CrossFit, and you look at the type of lifts they do, the type of cardio that they do, it's beyond ridiculous. The program is absolutely ridiculous. And I saw an article, I guess CrossFit has some type of blog, and they blamed Outside the Lines. But by the way, if you're going to blame any show on ESPN, you do not want to blame Outside the Lines, because that's by far the best show and the most credible show. So if the most credible show on a network calls you out, don't call them back out. You better just be quiet and get better. I'm sorry to rant on that, but CrossFit needs to step it up. Okay? You don't allow... I hate this... You know what I hate? I hate how Nike has created this entire movement. They have a shirt, it says no days off. Really? No days off? So you can go 7 days a week, 24 hours, 7 days a week. That's how people talk, right? That's how people, you gotta put the work in, you gotta put the work in. I dare you, go 24 hours, 7 days a week, or go work out 5 hours, 6 hours a day, 7 days a week. Tell me how you feel. No recovery. Tell me how you feel. If your athletic performance declines, it's because your body isn't recovering. And that's what's happening at CrossFit. They have created a program where there's absolutely no recovery. And if the best athletes LeBron James, Usain Bolt, Kobe Bryant. You look at athletes like Adrian Peterson, Mike Trout, Miguel Cabrera. All these athletes recover. I said recover. And CrossFit has formed a program that does not have recovery. No recovery. So how do you expect any professional to come out and say CrossFit's okay, or anybody to say CrossFit is okay? I don't think it is. First of all, I think strength training in general should be different based on the sport. I don't think you train a basketball player the same way you do for football. And a lot of people, and I'm going to give a little story here, anecdote. I went to a school where we had a strength coach and he did all sports, right? And his formula was the same for every sport, basically. We were just all power lifters. And I don't think for basketball it fits well. Maybe for football it does, because that's a power sport. Basketball is a sport where it's muscular endurance, okay? And I think CrossFit has become so much, it's a mix between muscular endurance and muscular strength. But the line has been so blurred with the way they've treated their athletes, with the way their program has been constructed. Injuries have occurred, people have collapsed on the floor, and quite frankly, why would any elite athlete consider CrossFit is really beyond ridiculous. It is, I think CrossFit is has been disrespectful to the profession. Okay, they've consistently ruined the bodies of the average Joe and the elite athlete. And I'm so happy for Outside the Lines and just the general discussion of everybody talking about how CrossFit is not a good sports program. And it will not if they continue with the way they're going. I think ever since, to me, CrossFit reminds me of a typical small business becoming too big. And that's what CrossFit has become. CrossFit, the origins of CrossFit, the start of CrossFit was very good. Was top-notch. But ever since it evolved, ever since the egos got too big at top, at the leadership at CrossFit, they've turned it into a monopolizing, manipulating program that destroys bodies. And I hope we as a sporting world recognize that, and we recognize that we should never get any training from CrossFit, period. And I am not affiliated with any particular sports program. People who are in CrossFit, people who, are affiliated or maybe work for CrossFit will come at me and say, you're affiliated with some other type of strength coach or strength program or cardio program or training. I am not. Period. I am not. I'm a radio host. I'm objective. I did the research. I was going to try CrossFit. And I saw their program. I saw the workouts they did. You know what? I want my body to recover. I don't want I don't want to risk an injury over extreme training. I want my body to be fresh during games. I want my body to be okay. I don't want to be injured when I'm 50. I don't want to have a neck injury. I don't want to limp my way to the restaurant, limp my way to the store. And the macho man mentality of CrossFit is quite a disappointment. Alright. that's the end for those two issues. We got more to go, but let's take a quick break. Because I really need a break. I'll be completely honest with you. So, the Dietz, Robert Dieters and Stephen Hughes, they do a show here on Spreaker.com, National Sports. We appreciate all of you listening. They do a great job here, and we're going to provide a little promo here as we take a break. So, take a listen.
The Baltimore Ravens bring back a criminal to their football team while Michael Sam might not even be drafted in the NFL. Do we have a controversy brewing in the National Football League? This is Robert Dieters, Nick Rice, and the Dietz Sports Talk only on Spreaker.com. It starts right now.
Got everybody saying,
Dietz and Stevens, All Out Sports Talk will return right after these commercial messages. You are listening to the National Sports Radio Station on Spreaker.com.
Alright, back on Beyond the Box Score with Cameron Sadeghi here. We have a big issue out in Los Angeles. Huge issue. And I have been witnessing this big issue for a long time. Even though I'm not a baseball fan, I have here locally seen how a TV network has really been disappointing. And that's Time Warner Cable Sportsnet LA. The Dodgers, the LA Dodgers, plan to have a network. Time Warner Cable has the Time Warner Cable Sportsnet for the Lakers, the Sparks, and they also do some college games. They do some high school CIF stuff too. But Time Warner wanted to make a network especially dedicated to the Dodgers. So, concern was raised by AwfulAnnouncing.com especially. Steve Lepore wrote this. The title reads, Fox Sports West and Sportsnet LA's first ever Angels-Dodgers battle went about how you think it did. Basically, by the way, I do not have Time Warner Cable Sportsnet Dodgers. I don't have the Dodgers network. Time Warner has had huge issues getting their network to all the TV providers. And everybody has been so infuriated with the Dodgers network, and especially Time Warner Cable, because, every single cable network, every single cable service, they can't carry the Dodgers. So Fox Sports West averaged 346,000 viewers. By the way, this was the game in August 4th, I believe. So the Angels won 5-0 against the Dodgers, but that's not what we're going to talk. We're not going to talk about the box score. We're going to go beyond it, correct? So, Sportsnet LA, that is the Dodgers network, 80,000, or, no, if I get this correctly, yes, 80,000 viewers were watching Sportsnet LA. Because, let me remind you, most of the LA, Southern California area, we do not have the Dodgers. I don't have the Dodgers on I have Cox, I don't have the Dodgers. Okay? So, we all have to see it on Fox Sports West. And there's big... Also, we have to remember this. The Dodgers are one of the most historical franchises in all of America. Period. And they have one of the best announcers, Vin Scully. He is regarded as one of the top announcers, play-by-play announcers that we've ever seen, radio and television. He is by far surpassed expectations. He's one of the best. He's been in this business for such a long time, and we're missing an opportunity to see Vin's last years as an announcer. So it's kind of disappointing, and Fox Sports West they've done a great job, don't get me wrong, but Sportsnet LA, we're seeing this as a trend now because so many of these, I call these sports organizations, these private entities, they get so greedy. They feel like they can just make their own network, okay? It's not that simple. Just because the Yankees did it, the Yes Network, where the Yankees decided to dedicate an entire network to all Yankees every day. It's not that easy. It took a long time for the Yes Network to gain popularity, and it's going to be the same with Sportsnet LA. So I don't like how we have so many of these teams forming their own networks. And I think it could be a little dangerous here because you have a lot of homers, you have really biased announcers and analysts and studio hosts and studio commentators. Reporters that just Time Warner Cable Sportsnet, and I see the Lakers channel, and it's all Lakers. They report about nonsense, and I know some of you may say, well, you're not a big Laker guy. Yes, I'm not, but I wouldn't mind if they talked about, Swaggy P's, Nick Young's ability to score, or let's see here, Jordan Hill's rebounding abilities, or maybe Jordan Hill's inabilities, or Jordan Hill's deficiencies in the post game, or things like that. That's good analysis. That's top-notch, quality, golden material. When you get stuff about Swaggy P, drinking this Slurpee, wearing these sandals, let's go see Robert Sacre doing this burrito challenge. Honestly, do I care? And I know some of you may say, well, Cameron, be a little bit more sentimental, care about these players, but I don't care if an NBA player eats a burrito. I'd like to see behind the scenes. I do. I love to see behind the scenes. But I want to see them. I want to see their training. I want to see what the NBA life is really like. I don't want to over-glorify and talk about the killer will of Kobe Bryant and drool over him. I want to see actual training. I want to see a well-conducted interview without bias. And when you create a network dedicated and formed by the team itself, it just becomes a propaganda machine. Look, I don't want to offend any conservatives or liberals, but I have a good example. It's like MSNBC and Fox News and MSNBC. They are complete disasters because they're not TV networks. They're not news organizations. They're political organizations. That's what they are. Fox News and MSNBC. Same thing here. Yes Network is a sports organization. They are not a sports media organization. They are a sports organization who happens to be showing footage. It's not good ethics. It's bad for the profession. And I hope the trend stops. And I hope this lesson really proves that we don't need the sports networks to come from the teams. Let National Sports, let Fox Sports, let NBC Sports, CBS Sports make it. Independent networks making, forming their own channels and cable sports, because that's done the right way. No bias. And we're missing that. And I hope the trend stops. And it really bothers me. It really does. It really does. Let's take another break. We'll be back in a moment. In the Paint, Jordan Hunter, he's always with me on In the Paint. You always hear Cameron Sadeghi and Jordan Hunter talking in third person, but that's okay. We're always here, National Sports, In the Paint. Let's hear a promo while we take a quick break here.
Previously on In the Paint.
I'm just trying to think of really good centers right now. Oh, you know what? Where does Nene fit? Top 15?
Broken down Nene. Yeah,
I don't like it when people say, "Oh, he's dumb."
he makes a lot of dumb plays.
Okay, but you know what? Dennis Rodman made a lot of dumb plays, and same with Charles Oakley, and same with Charles Barkley, and same with Tom Gugliotta, and same with Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal didn't even want to run the triangle. He's like, "I don't give a care, Phil. Let me just give it to me in the post, 28-15." That's all he said.
Wow, I can't.
Okay, what do you think Shaq's IQ of the game of basketball?
I don't think it's really high.
Yeah, I don't think so either. No, Shaq would just give you the bow and the big butt just beat you out. Let's be honest. He even said on TNT, he put the bow in the mouth and then he put his big posterior on somebody and slam it through and give Rick Smith's concussion. Unbelievable.
Live from the national sports radio station on Spreaker.com, you are listening to NBA insiders Cameron and Jordan on In the Paint. It all starts right now.
Beyond the box score, Cameron Sadeghi. One last story to conclude things. I think it's fair to Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel. I don't have the show on HBO, or I don't watch HBO, but I'm looking at their website and they had a very, very interesting, as I cannot find what I'm looking for. I don't know what I am doing. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. Oh, God. Gosh, I can't find it. Alright. Oh, yes, I found it. My bad, sorry. Okay, big issues in Washington. The Redskins. The Washington Redskins, they're a football team in the NFL. People have been debating and some more debating about the name, Redskin. Is that a good name for a football team? What I say, no. What the rest of the public says, no. But even President Obama says no. Okay? When the President of the United States talks about your sports team in a negative way, I think about a name that's offensive, change it. Change it. I'm tired of the nonsense. The glory about how the Washington Redskins is such a big deal and how we've won Super Bowls with having the name Washington Redskins. No. It was bad before, it's bad now. It's not a positive term. Okay? You can't call yourself, I don't know, the Dolphins. I mean, honestly, you can't call yourself just any animal. Really, the Redskins? To attack the Native American heritage. And I've heard a lot of polls. I think polls are really deceiving and just misleading. They misguide everyone. Polls are never 100% correct, okay? I've always believed that. You get any poll out there that says, well, like they would ask people from the Native American area, do you think Redskins is a bad name? And, like, there have been so many polls that said, no, the Native American heritage loves the name. Really? Even if it's not offending the Native American heritage, it's offending us. It's offending me. It's offending other races too. Because the NFL, the king of sports in America, has a team that refers to a skin color. It's not appropriate. Okay? I don't like some of the other names in other professional sports teams. But you can't tell me that Roger Goodell can't look me in the eye and tell me that that name is good. That name has a positive connotation. I can't believe Daniel Snyder, the owner of the Washington team, that he can look into a reporter's eyes and say, that name's okay. It's morally not right, okay? I don't care about the Super Bowls. I don't care how many times you won with John Riggins and the Hogs, they would call it back in the day. And Joe Gibbs. And, Joe Gibbs and Joe Theismann. I think as a nation, we become so, we really care, about social morals, social aspects, that it really, at that time, I don't think we were as educated, but again, the social media era that we live in, it's educated us to what is morally right and what is morally wrong sometimes. And that name isn't morally right. It's hard to debate, okay? Some of you are saying, why aren't you giving a lot of reasoning? No need to debate here. It's you either think it's morally right or morally wrong. It's morally wrong. And you better have a really good argument besides the performance on the field. Besides the performance on the field, you better have a really solid argument to tell me otherwise. I dare somebody to come tell me that name is a good name. Really? Really. So, according to Snyder, it provides good history, or it's good glory. I don't see any glory in that name. If that team was called the Washington, the Washington Expos or something. They were called the Washington Expos, and they won the Super Bowl. Would I care? No. What the name is. If they were the Washington Thunder, would that matter? No. Okay? So, why does the name have any glory attached to it? It doesn't. It's a racist term. Don't use it. Get it out of the league right now. It's that simple. Time and time again, we justify this because of what happened in the past with the championships. And I get, and I'm tired of the nonsense that the city, really loves this name. Really loves this name. You can't tell me universally you can't tell me everyone in that city likes that name. Trust me, there are a lot of people who don't like that name. And I don't blame them, because it's morally wrong. There's not much to debate about it. There's not much to talk about. And I just find such an issue with this, because Snyder's not going to back down until he may be forced to sell the team if it really gets that bad. But the people of Washington, D.C. really need to step up. They need to say that we will not have something morally wrong in the king of sports, the NFL, where everything should be morally right in the NFL. And if it's not, well, we have problems. So let's fix it. And that's the main message and the main reason why I do this show. Because there are going to be problems everywhere in sports. But it doesn't always happen in the games, in the box scores, in the highlights. It's the things behind the scenes, the things that we don't talk about, the things that we don't hear in the national media sometimes, or everywhere in the media. So it's good to bring it up. It's good to talk about. It's good to talk about the issues that can help sports become maybe the greatest entertainment in the world. But these problems stand in the way of the glory of sports, and it's good to bring up. I'm Cameron Sadeghi, National Sports, Beyond the Box Score. Thanks for listening.